Hey, welcome in to Wisdom in October with Pastor Rick here. Glad you're here. We're just journeying through the book of Proverbs one day at a time. We're on October 25th, so we're going to be in Proverbs 25. Just a special shout out to my friend Mason for picking it up yesterday on day 24. You did a great job. Thank you for helping out and contributing like that. It was great to add another voice into the conversation. Hope that you'll add your voice into the conversation in the comments. I'd love to just stir up some conversation about the Word of God. I think it's fun to see that kind of thing going out on Facebook and YouTube, just to be able to get other people noticing that people are reading the Word, people are interacting with the Word of God, people are processing, people are trying to apply it to their lives, and that's what we want to do. So we're going to rock and roll, jump into chapter 25. First, we're going to just take a little sip of our coffee. Cheers. Oh yeah. All right, here we go. Chapter 25, verse 11. A word spoken at the right time is like gold apples in silver settings. And so, again, just going back to this reoccurring theme in the book of Proverbs about the tongue, about the spoken word, about the power of words. And I think it's just, we'd just be so silly to ignore all of these things that it's saying about our tongue and about our words, about a gentle word, about a well-timed word, about all these different things where we need to just pay attention to the words that are coming out of our mouth. Like it says in Ephesians, that no unwholesome talk should come out of your mouth. So are we convicted of it? Are we committed to being a people that are speaking life to people and not speaking curses or just speaking flippantly? And are we people that are paying attention to the words that are coming out of our mouths? So let's be a people that speak words at the right time so that it can be like gold apples in settings of silver. And they were like real gold in the settings of real silver. So we're talking like very luxurious, very valuable types of things, and that's what it's equating these words spoken at the right time to. Next up in verse 15, it says, a ruler can be persuaded through patience, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. Again, coming back to the power of the tongue, the power of the words spoken, and we want to be a people that have that gentle tongue in the right timing, because it can break a bone. It can, and you know what it means by that is like, it takes a lot of force, it takes a lot of strength to break a bone, where you could think about violence and stuff by yelling and screaming, and what it's saying is sometimes the more impactful, the more powerful thing to do is to use the gentle tongue, the gentle word, the quiet word. And so, you know, we want, and also just realizing that a ruler can be persuaded through patience. So it's not always the power play, it's not always the aggressiveness. Sometimes we need to be patient, sometimes we need to be calm, sometimes we need to have a gentle word in our hearts. For challenging situations where we're trying to move people in a particular direction, paying attention that it can be done through patience and that it can be done through a gentle word, I think is super important. Jumping down to verse 20, it says, singing songs to a troubled heart is like taking off clothing on a cold day, or like pouring vinegar on soda. So we need to pay attention when we're trying to be with someone and care about someone and speak to them appropriately in the situation that they're going through, that we recognize if they have a troubled heart, how we want to interact with them, how we want to approach that situation. Because here it's saying we can actually make it worse, singing songs to a troubled heart, taking off clothing on a cold day. Like, you don't want to be taking off clothing on a cold day. You want to be putting more stuff on. You want to stay warm. We want to be people that are coming alongside people in their challenging scenario, in their hurt place, and helping make things better, not making things worse. And most of the time when people come in and they make something worse in a situation, it's not because they intended it. It's just because they didn't understand. They weren't tracking with exactly where the person was at, and they were trying their best. And sometimes it can just kind of backfires and doesn't work out. So pay attention to the person's heart, where they're at, and just be careful that you're not singing songs to a troubled heart, or pouring vinegar on your soda. So verse 21 is really powerful. 21 and 22. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. It kind of feels like it's hearkening over to Jesus in the New Testament, where he's saying, love your neighbor, pray for your enemies, love your enemies. Don't, like what? Come on, Jesus. Are you kidding me right now? Like, you want me to love my neighbor? But here, all the way back in Proverbs, it's saying, if your enemy is hungry, give him food. And if he's thirsty, give him something to drink. In essence, meet his felt need, his most important need right now, hunger or thirst in the moment. And that's what the Bible's telling you to do, to meet that need in that time. And it says, for you'll heap burning coals on his head. And I remember when I was a little kid, I thought, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be heaping burning coals on their head. I'll burn them up real good, because obviously my heart position was not correct. My heart was more like, get them, God, and really what he wants us to do is to show the same kind of kindness to our enemies that he showed to his enemies. Us, while we were still sinners, while we were at enmity with God, he sent his son to die for us and raised from the dead. Come on. What an amazing God we serve. And that's the kind of impact we need to have received into our hearts so that we can then also communicate that same kind of help and health to someone else. And then lastly, verse 28, a person who does not control his temper is like a city whose wall is broken down. When you have lost control of your temper, you're just a rager. You are no better than a city with no walls. And I'm telling you, in their day, they would not ever want to be a city with no walls. Because when you have a city with no walls, broken down walls, anybody can come in, anybody can go out, anybody can do whatever they want, and there's no protection, there's no security, there's no safety. And that's what we are when we have no control over our temper. I mean, Proverbs is pretty clear. We've already read quite a few times through the first 24 chapters that we've read about not being a companion to a hot-tempered person, somebody that loses their temper, somebody that's angry. We don't want to be a companion of those kinds of people because of the impact that it has on them. So with that, I just say a big, hearty God bless you to y'all. I look forward to hanging out with you again tomorrow. We're going to continue our journey through wisdom in October, journeying through the book of Proverbs. So God bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.